Thinking is only a small aspect of consciousness. Thought cannot exist without consciousness, but consciousness does not need thought to exist. You've got this brilliant idea, something unique and groundbreaking, only to find out someone else has just published it. First, it's frustrating. How could someone else have come up with the same concept at the same time? It seems that ideas aren't born from a single mind, but from an invisible web, a shared pool of thought. Just when the time is right, our minds seem to tap into it, pulling from the same ether, the same collective current of human understanding. Rupert Sheldrake's theory of morphic resonance offers an intriguing idea. Once a behavior is learned by one group, it becomes easier for others to pick it up, almost as if the knowledge lingers in the air, waiting to be absorbed. It looks like behaviors and knowledge are not a personal achievements or isolated insights. They transcend the individual. So not only our individual minds accumulate knowledge, but it's also a collective unfolding of awareness. This is where the idea of the one mind takes root as an energetic truth. When one person unlocks a mystery, this knowledge doesn't merely stay with them, it becomes an offering to the collective psyche, patiently waiting for someone else to grasp it. Physicists talk about parallel universes. Spiritual mystics talk about timelines. All possibilities already exist. You navigate them not by movement, but by awareness. You don't need to journey to another world to experience these alternate realities. You simply need to shift your awareness. It's not about space travel, but about perception. Similarly, meditation is not for zoning out. It also is very much about tuning into the vast, invisible field that connects everything. It's like turning down the volume on your internal noise and plugging into the quiet hum of the universe. In that space, between your thoughts, between your breaths, there's a silent, shared energy, one that doesn't belong solely to you, but to everyone, everywhere. It's as if by quieting yourself, you can hear the subtle whispers of the collective, the silent dance of consciousness that flows through all beings. So it's not only self-awareness, but also a cosmic awareness. A moment where the boundaries between you and the rest of existence blur. Falling in love is one mind recognizing itself in another. That's why it feels like home, why time warps, why words dissolve. Love is not between two people. It's the one mind waking up to itself in union. By meeting another person, you're discovering another fragment of the infinite. The reason it feels like home is because, for a split second, everything is home. Every moment before this one, every past life, every parallel existence you've ever known or will know, collapses into this instant. It's a reunion. Time twists and folds, as if reality can't handle the intensity of the recognition. You might feel like you've been pulled out of yourself, like you're no longer tethered to linear existence. And words crumble to dust, because how do you explain infinity in a sentence? Henri Bergson spoke of la durée, a concept where time isn't measured as hours or minutes, but as a deeper qualitative experience. To the one mind, time bends, stretches, and folds. There's no past or future, only the eternal now. Not the tick-tock of seconds, but the strange, syrupy way a moment can expand or vanish depending on how alive you are inside it. It's why a heartbreak lasts an eternity, and the kiss dissolves a whole hour. It's not your watch that measures time, it's your soul. If each of us experiences time subjectively, then what is time to the one mind? The total consciousness from which all minds branch. The one mind doesn't watch time pass. It contains time. To it there is no linear flow, no neat row of past, present, and future. Instead, everything is coiled and layered. The past is still happening. The future is whispering, the present is everywhere. When we drop into presence, deep meditation, we're not simply relaxing, we're syncing with the pulse of the one mind, where everything happens at once. A sudden, unexplainable knowing is the one mind leaking through the cracks. It means when you feel alone, the one mind is still there. When someone invents something at the same time as someone else on the other side of the world, it's not a coincidence. The one mind is expressing a new note through two instruments. In Hindu cosmology, Vishnu dreams the universe while resting on the serpent of eternity, and inside that dream, we dream of Vishnu. This recursive loop isn't just poetic, it points to a truth. Consciousness is self-referential. Rick and Morty's interdimensional cable episodes are parodies of this recursion, showing infinite versions of self, all tuned into slightly different frequencies. You are not the first layer, nor the last. An octopus doesn't think the way we do. Its intelligence is radically decentralized. Out of the roughly 500 million neurons it possesses, more than 2/3 are located not in its head, but in its arms. Each arm contains its own neural network, capable of processing information, reacting to the environment, and even making decisions independently of the central brain. If an arm touches a crab, it can decide how to grab it without consulting the brain first. This means the octopus operates as a system of semi-autonomous limbs, each one learning and adapting on its own, yet still somehow coordinating in harmony. Even more strangely, the octopus seems to have a form of body awareness without needing to visually monitor its arms. Its intelligence is embodied, fluid, and ambient, less like a command center, more like a network. It thinks with its whole being. That's what makes it such a fascinating model for distributed consciousness, intelligence without a fixed location. What if consciousness itself doesn't reside in a single entity, like a god or central brain? Instead, it could be a collective web of awareness, with each of us, every living being, contributing to the vast network. We're not individual islands, we're connected arms of a larger organism, sensing and evolving together. Just as the octopus's arms are deeply intelligent on their own, but serve a greater whole, our individual consciousnesses could be extensions of a single, shared cosmic mind. We all have our unique perceptions and experiences, but they may be interconnected in ways we don't fully understand. In essence, consciousness isn't a monolithic I. It's a collective, decentralized experience. Each individual is like one of those octopus arms, deeply connected to a greater intelligence. We're not just separate thinkers, we're all parts of one continuous, evolving awareness. The one mind is not just an abstract idea, but the collective consciousness we all contribute to, without even realizing it. Teilhard de Chardin, a French philosopher and Jesuit priest, proposed the idea of the Noosphere, collective consciousness that envelops the earth, like a mental atmosphere that grows as humanity's intellectual capacities evolve. The Noosphere is an extension of the biosphere, representing the mental and spiritual layer of the planet. As humans become more interconnected through both physical means and mental spiritual means, we become an integral part of a higher planetary mind. The internet could be considered the first glimmers of the Noosphere, a space where human minds are continuously interacting and exchanging thoughts on a global scale. The digital world, much like a neural network, mirrors the neural connectivity of a brain. Now trace this upward spiral to its source. The Noosphere doesn't end at the edge of human intellect. It points toward the omega point, Teilhard's vision of the ultimate convergence. All minds, all beings, all experiences collapsing into unity, a return to the one mind. more than an abstract force. One could even say, as the very culmination of evolution. Every shared thought, meme, prayer, every burst of insight or collective mourning, these are the electrical pulses of the Noosphere awakening. And of course, it happens not only digitally. The Noosphere also evolves through meditation circles, silent synchronicities, shared dreams, global compassion, the invisible threads that bind us. And the more we align, the more we feel each other, the more the one mind begins to reassemble itself through us. The anima mundi, the soul of the world, flows through every living thing, a tangible presence connecting all of existence. Some assume it is but a metaphor, others experience it as a very foundation of structure. The world hums with life, a pulse felt in the rustling of leaves, in the silence between breaths, in the ancient rock beneath our feet. The wisdom of the universe breathes through everything, both in the quiet murmur of nature and in the complexity of human experience. There is no barrier between us and the world. Rather, we are immersed in it, together as one. In moments of stillness, the mind can merge with this living intelligence, realizing that separation is an illusion. What we perceive as our consciousness is a ripple in the infinite stream of shared awareness. And to reach the truth, we stop searching for it as something external. The universe is not a collection of objects, but a collection of relationships. The whole of humanity is one body, and each person is a part of that body.